Yo guys, what's going on? Today I've got a tier list video for you. It's specifically a Season 12 weapon tier list, and I'm going to be telling you my opinions of the weapons and which ones I think you should use and which ones I wouldn't pick up. So if you guys like these types of videos, please consider liking and subscribing. It's totally free and it would really help us out a lot. So anyway, let's just get into this. So first off here, we've got the 30-30 repeater. I think the 30-30 is a decent gun. It's good for damage farming. It uses heavy ammo, so it's got decent bullet velocity and drop. Marksman rifle, and with the new shatter caps, if you hip fire, it is shotgun rounds, which is kind of nice, but it's not a great gun, so I think it's like middle of the range, so I'm going to leave it at B. We've got the alternator, just came out of the care package. When it was in care package, it was obviously an S, but now I think a lot of the SMGs outperform it. I think it's still a good gun, but I think it belongs right around in B. Um, Next, the Bocek. I personally do not like this gun at all. It uses the arrows, super hard to find, no one's carrying it. It just like feels kind of weird. Um, so I'm gonna put that C. Here we've got one of the newer guns, the car, really good SMG. Some would say it's the best SMG, just the capability to use light and heavy attachments and rounds is super big. I'm not a huge fan of this gun. It feels kind of weird to me, but that might just be because I haven't used it very much. But I think this gun belongs in A. Um, Charge rifle. Good sniper, probably the best sniper. Good damage, hit scan. Unfortunately, unfortunately, snipers aren't very strong right now. So for comp, this is a super good gun because it's really good for farming damage, and you can steal knocks with it. But I think it belongs in B. So I'm gonna rank the Havoc and Devo at the same time because I think they're kind of equivalent. Because in order to make them good, you really need the turbocharger. So I think because they're so reliant on that one attachment, I'm gonna put them in C because the charge up is just a killer, and the recoil is kind of difficult on both of them, especially for me on controller. Now, like M&K players, you might put them in B, but for me personally, I think I'm gonna leave them in C just because you need the turbocharger. The Eva, worst shotgun in the game by far right now. Maybe one of the worst guns in the game after that nerf that they gave it. Super inconsistent, super low damage. This is going to be our first D gun. Um, Hemlock. Burst AR. A decent weapon. Um, it's semi-difficult to use, but if you're good with it, it's like really good. I'm going to put it in B. I think it's like an average AR. Next, we've got the L Star. The best thing about this gun is the fact that it's energy, so it's low bullet drop, but when you shoot, the bullets are super large, so it can be kind of difficult to see. I do not like this gun at all. Recoil's kind of difficult. I'm going to put it in C. Longbow. This gun this is my personal favorite sniper to use. It's fun, but it's worse than the charge rifle. So I'm going to put it in B. I might add another tier here just because I feel like I should change some of that, but I'll change that at the end. We've got the Mastiff. Some would say this is the best shotgun. I personally like the PK a little bit more, but this has a little bit faster fire rate. Um, Definitely A tier, really good gun. Mozambique, I'd rather have, I think with hammer points, I'd rather have this than the Eva, like by far. Hammer points definitely help it out a lot. C tier. P20, even though hammer points are in, some people would say that they might like this better than Mozambique. I personally don't. Um, although I do think hammer points is better than Eva. PK, my personal favorite shotgun in the game. You know, I think it's like 120 max pump, super good, definitely A tier. These two are like interchangeable. You could use either of them and you do well with both. So we're gonna put them in A. Prowler, I really like this gun. Um, I've been using it a lot more recently. Burst, if you're on controller, this is maybe the best SMG. This in the car. This gun shreds. You can like 3-burst someone if you're hitting your shots. It's crazy. If you're on controller, you should definitely try to use this. R301. This is one of my favorite guns in the game. It's obviously the easiest game or gun to use. Low recoil, decent consistent damage, fast fire rate, first S tier. Definitely, some would say it's the best gun in the game. I'll do the flatline now. Flatline, even though it got a nerf by 1 damage, which doesn't sound like much, but it actually does a lot. It significantly slows down the time to kill because it takes an extra bullet now, and this gun doesn't have the fastest fire rate. And they made it in the crafter, which is like a buff and a nerf because now you have to spend your crafting points to get it. But if you have a crafter, you can guaranteed craft this. So it's like, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion. But I would say this gun, people would say was better than R301. The recoil is a lot harder to control than R301, but if you practice with it a lot, you can get pretty decent with it. But I think it's slightly worse than R301 now. R99. So there's mixed things about this gun. It's definitely not as good as it used to be, but I still think it's a pretty good gun. It just feels really nice to use. Maybe that's because it's been out since the start of the game. I like this gun a lot. I like it more in the car, but it doesn't do near as much damage. Um, Time to kill is still pretty similar, but it's a lot harder to one mag someone with the R9 than with the car. So it's slightly worse than the car, but I still think it's an A tier gun. Rampage. Uh, this gun used to be S, but after they nerfed the damage, I think it was last season, I still think it's good and super viable, but it's not quite as strong as it used to be. In my opinion, this is A tier. RE, they added hammer points that helps this gun out a lot. With the hammer points, it's really not that bad because the fast fire rate. I'm gonna put it in C though. We got the Sentinel. This is my least favorite sniper. Although I do think it's fun to use. Like if it's pubs, I'll grab this thing and just run like 2x and just like quick scope with it. But in like ranked and competitive, I think the other two snipers are better than this. So that's why I'm gonna put it in C tier. We've got the triple take, energy weapon. Um, this is a good gun. I think that it depends what you like. Some people would prefer this over a sniper, but I think the snipers are better at um, long range than this. This is more of like a mid to far range gun, but I think it's a good gun. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Next, we've got the Wingman. So the Wingman is one of the guns on this list with maybe the highest skill gap. Um, if you're hitting your shots, this gun will just melt people. But if you're not confident, you definitely do not want to use this gun. But it's a gun that it's started to grow on me a lot recently because I've been using it a lot more. Um, I think way back when in the beginning when the fire rate was super high, this gun was no doubt S tier. Um, but I think it's still a really good one of the best guns in the game. I'm gonna put it in A. So, all right, so writing on, we're gonna do an F tier. Let me just move this down because I think 6 tier is a little bit better. We're gonna move the Eva and P20 down. I'm gonna move the Mozambique down here. I'm gonna move the bow check because I really don't like that gun down. Need to change some stuff. I think I'm gonna move the RE down, to be honest. Let's move. I kind of like these where they are though. I think I'm gonna move another gun down to B tier, and I think it's either gonna be the Rampage or the R9. I just have this love for the R9, so it's super hard for me to move it down. But I think the other guns, I think the car and the Prowler are better than the R9, so because of that, I'm gonna move them down. Although the R9 is definitely better than the Alternator, like by far better. Time to kill is so much faster. R9 more damage, a little bit damage, more damage per mag, but a good R9 player will beat someone with the Alternator 90% of the time. So, oh, and I didn't put care package weapons in here just because most of them are S. Like, you've got the Kraber would be S, full S, Spitfire ARS. The only one that's not S is like the Scout, which is probably B or C. Like, the Scout's not great in this current state. I don't really know why it's in the care package. It shouldn't really be in there. But anyway, this is my list, guys. Give your opinions of it in the comments. Tell me what you think should be changed and what guns are your personal favorites. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if you enjoy, and see you guys next time.